Good morning, all students. As you can very well see, the situation has made us come to this mode of education where we will not be having a one-to-one interaction, but definitely very soon it is going to start. As per the schedule which we had continued in the classes, today we will be starting with a fresh new chapter which talks about the structural organization in animals. In the previous chapters we have already learnt about the various types of organisms which do exist, be it unicellular or multicellular, of animal kingdom as well as the plant kingdom. We had learnt about in unicellulars how do they obtain their food, how do they digest, respire or reproduce, all being carried out in a single cell. But when we move on to the multicellular organizations, we find that certain groups have been created within the body which will be acting unanimously for working off a particular work assigned to them. This is going to be referred as division of labor. This division of labor will make the organization much more complex, and we need to understand how these various groups which are clubbed together will be performing. So, starting from the very basic of the structural organization in animals, we would be first of all understanding how complexity is going to be growing as the organisms evolve. So, moving aside the basic of NCERT, we will be moving on to the basic concepts first of all. When we talk about the lowest level of evolution, it is unicellular, as we have learnt about, in a level where the structural and functional unit of life happens to be the cell itself. Whereas in multicellular, the cells show division of labor, as just now I have mentioned, and this is because they have learned to specialize the function and able to differentiate. This is the same differentiation which we have learned in the previous chapter, where one particular type of cell which has got the ability to divide is going to perform growth, will turn into a permanent one. This position was related with meristematic tissues, and they form either parenchymatous cell, collenchyma, or the sclerenchyma. Same differentiation is going to take place. This differentiation means that now the cells will be performing one specific function as such, and this will lead to the formation of the tissue level of organization. Now, in tissue level of organization, as we have already learnt about the definition, it is group of one or more types of cells which are similar in origin, and they are specialized to perform specific function, and they are held together in specific extracellular material which is going to be constituting a tissue. So basically it will be the group of cells which will be exclusively working for a specific function being allocated to them. These tissues, once formed, will further join to produce something referred as an organ, and we have learnt about this organ level of organization where specific proportion and pattern of the tissue is going to act as an organ. This organ, we have got certain examples which are related to us, that is the animalia tissue. We have got the stomach, we have got the liver, we have got urinary bladder, and so on. So these are referred as the organ. But organ alone cannot function unless and until it is not supported by other parts. And this will give rise to something called as the organ system level of organization, where minimum 2 or more organs, they are going to function together. They can be interacting physically or chemically in a coordinated manner to carry out the major life processes. Now this is the same life processes which we have learnt about in class 10. The whole chapter was there. So here there is some example given, that is the digestive system, which performs a major life process of digestion, and simultaneously we have got as the nervous system, we have excretory system, we have circulatory system, and we have got a reproductive system. These all systems are going to be present at one place, will give rise to an organism. So this is an organism which has got individual consisting of several organ systems which perform their function in unison together to sustain, survive that particular individual. And this will be the highest level of structural organization. So we have started with something called as the cellular level, we moved on to the tissue level, we moved on to organ level, further moved on to organ system level, and this organ system level will give rise to an organism. Now, these particular tissues which we will be learning about will be of various types and origin. Now, as per the NCERT guidelines of the textual part, we have got this particular thing eliminated, but let us learn about their basic parts which are available. You are going to find a coincidence that this was same sort of thing which you had learnt in class 9, where the chapter was the tissues, where we had learnt about epithelial tissue, we had learnt about connective tissue, we had learnt about muscular tissue, and we have learnt about the nervous tissue. Let us club them all together so that organs are going to get formed, and those organs will give rise to organ system level of organization, which in turn will lead to the formation of an organism. Now, continuing in this line itself, we will be moving on to what the chapter is going to deal with. We will be exclusively working upon the frogs. Previously, there were 2 more organisms present in the textbook, but after certain modification, we have got a limited working to be done on frog. Now, going by the classification carried by R.H. Whitaker, we will be placing them into the eukaryotic, multicellular, and heterotrophic organisms devoid of cell wall, being present in the form of a kingdom called as Animalia. So, frogs, they are amphibia. Amphi is both, bia is from the bios, that is the life. They can survive on land as well as in water. They belong to the phylum Chordata, and the most common species which we are going to work upon, which is found in India, is Rana tigrina. Now, again, a certain terminology we'll be using from the previous chapter's explanation. They do not have constant body temperature. In case we go If they do not have constant body temperature, it means that the body temperature varies with the temperature of environment. And such animals were called as the cold-blooded animals and otherwise referred as poikilotherms or poikilothermic animals. They have the ability to change the color of their skin, which is nothing but a process to protect themselves from the predators. This ability which frogs possess, wherein they can change the color of the skin according to the surrounding environment, this is referred as camouflage. Now, camouflage is one of the methods. Many frogs have developed other protective measures, but Rana tigrina will be heavily dependent upon the camouflage so that it can get itself hidden from naked eye of a predator and try to save itself. This is a protective coloration, and we call it as mimicry of the surrounding. They are not going to be found during extreme weather conditions, be it very hot summers or very cold winters, because they tend to hide and go for deep sleeps because they cannot survive very high temperature. The body temperature, as we have just discussed upon, is going to be changing with the changing temperature of environment. They go for a deep sleep to conserve their energy. So what they do, they take shelter in deep burrows and protect themselves with extreme either heat or cold. Now here we will be using two terms which will tell us that this deep sleep which a frog is going through is happening either in summer or in winter. In case we talk about that the frog has taken a deep sleep in the summer, we will be calling it as estivation. And in case we see that the frog is not visible because it's too cold, they have gone into deep sleep, we will be calling the winter sleep as hibernation. Now these two terminologies are going to basically tell us that which part of climatic cycle the frog is going through and has gone for the deep sleep. This will make us understand how the frogs are going to survive. Now, frogs have evolved over a period of time where they tend to be conserving their energy, will be depending upon the environmental conditions for their survival. The topic which we'll be covering in the next class would be about, first of all, morphology, and followed by the morphology we will be directly entering into the anatomy of the frog. Morphology, we will be talking about how the appearance seems to be there of a frog, which particular part is available to be seen. And when we'll talk about anatomy, we will be going deep inside the body to find out about the various organs and organ systems being prevalent.